The sin tax campaign came in at just the right time. We know that 10 Filipinos die every hour from a major tobacco-related disease. That's about 87,000 Filipinos every year. Our population, in terms of young people, is probably around 60–70%. And knowing that the poor suffer the most, that really got to me. And knowing that the tobacco industry was earning a lot of money off of these poor people.
The biggest sector affected by cigarette smoking is the youth. I mean, once they get hooked as a young person in their teens, a lot of them get hooked for life. And first of all, you don't want them doing that at that young age, but they do get hooked for life. I really would want it to be as inaccessible to young people as possible. But then they'll throw you this argument, well then, let's not raise sin tax because it makes it harder for people to buy something that they want, but it is not good for them. So we go on and on.
The spirit of the sin tax is basically to increase the taxes for sin products, like tobacco and alcohol, so that you'll be able to prevent the young and the poor from taking on these vices. And the money that you'll generate from this particular law will be earmarked to health.
Cigarette prices have at least tripled. But in terms of the tax rate, the rate we wanted was 800% higher than what it was back then. And the tobacco companies were saying that would cause the collapse of the tobacco industry in the Philippines.
It was a tough fight. We would even experience threats, and they were trying to bribe some of our advocates, offering cars, iPads, cheap iPads. They had a battery of lawyers, but amongst us were doctors wearing white coats. We are also representing their patients who couldn't go to Congress because they're sick. They're in the hospitals, struggling.
The industry actually managed to get a doctor who's actually a member of parliament say that smoking is definitely not harmful to one's health. So that's how bad it was.
We can now be proud to say that our government was bold enough and our policymakers were bold enough to take a leap of faith and say, we're doing this for the right reasons. We need to increase taxes to protect our health, and that has reaped benefits.
It has generated huge amount of money. It has reduced the prevalence of smoking. We have averted 70,000 deaths.
Previously, smoking among adults had never gone below 30%. But for the first time, it actually went down to 28%. Smoking among the youth and smoking among the poorest families had the largest declines.
That law was dedicated to covering the insurance premiums of the poorest families in the country. In 2012, it was just around 70%. The coverage is now up to 92%. We're nearing that universal coverage. So we're really excited.
May anak po akong may sakit. NPCA po, nasopharyngeal carcinoma, stage 4C. Aplikasyon po ng gobyerno na tulungan yung mga mahihirap na hindi kaya magpagamot ng...
Opo, pag wala pong PhilHealth, sobrang hirap po. Kasi karamihan dito, lalo ako po, example ko na lang sarili ko. Nagkasakit yung anak ko na wala kaming pera para panggastos. Tapos, nagpasalamat na lang kami na may PhilHealth.
It involves the whole health portfolio. Elimination of infectious diseases, tuberculosis, malaria. Now we're not only vaccinating children 0 to 1 year old. We're vaccinating school-aged children. We have started school-based immunization. We have given booster doses. There is also an immunization program for senior citizens, and even the maintenance medications that the government is providing. These are all part of the sin taxes.
You need to protect our youth. They're the ones who are going to be our future, our nation's future. So if we don't protect them, then what's going to happen to our country?
Sometimes people think that controversial measures should be left untouched. But if you're given an opportunity to serve people, maximize that, utilize that, deliver for them, because not everybody is given the power to make a difference.
You need people to be outspoken and not to be afraid to challenge accepted norms, to challenge the belief that you can't touch these industries. You have to just keep talking about it until one writer will write about it, until more advocates will join the bandwagon.
It's very important for the Philippines to share this story with other countries. For me, telling the truth, thinking about what's good for others, that's what being human is about.
We are on the right side. We are fighting for what is good. We are fighting against the resources of the tobacco industry. They had all the connections. We had the right hearts.